Hello. You've caught me pondering the inexorable passing of time.
It's kind of terrifying, isn't it? The constant ticking of the eternal clock. A relentless march from then to the now.
But we're in the now. And therefore we should focus on the now, lest we get distracted by all the thens and the whens and the why-fors and the hitherto.
Shut up and get on with it.
Look, I was doing all the navel gazing because the last time I did a video reflecting on massive games you put at least 200 plus hours into was over 9 years ago, and that is a lot more than 200 hours ago, so we should have lots to talk about, or at least 7 games to talk about, which is the perfect amount for this list actually.
So here are 7 massive games you'll play for 200 hours at least, part 3.
First up is your preferred flavour of football game. We're showing off EAFC 25 because community manager Alex insisted on capturing Birmingham actually winning something this year, but it's really whichever one you've put the most time into. For Alex, that was 261 hours into FIFA 17. I fully understand. I've always got some kind of career mode on the go. I find it to be the perfect way to wind down after a marathon session on whatever RPG I happen to be stuck on at the time.
Come on! What on earth?
You're there, Seven!
Oh
Yes.
my god. What's happening?
What is happening?
We're gonna
just out.
Just out. Oh my god! Yes!
My truly awful.
That's the worst goal I've ever seen.
That was awful.
Yes, I do classify that as winding down, but that's the thing about these football simulators. It's hard to resist the allure of one more game. Nothing is ever predetermined, and all that matters is the performance you give between kick-off and the final whistle. One more game and you can snatch that Premier League title. You can save your squad from relegation. You can finally win against your friend after a day of constant defeats.
Because, as we all know, it's only the most recent game that counts.
Also, like football, you can be outclassed by someone half your age who makes you question whether you should retire and become a manager instead. And that's not to mention Ultimate Team, which is now so all-conquering you could argue it's a game in its own right. Tinkering with your squad and assembling a lineup of world-beating superstars, then taking them online only to get thrashed by some child prodigy playing as Grimsby will never get old.
Unlike me.
Massive game you'll play for 200 hours number 2 is Bloodborne, which isn't actually that massive if you're able to meet the game's expectations of you.
Or if you have friends that meet those expectations for you and carry you through the entire game in co-op. Thanks, Bloodborne Mum.
Proud of you, Bloodborne son!
If you're not grinding for the platinum, you could probably be in and out within 40 hours. However, with a game as good as this, the thought of playing it just once and leaving it there is frankly incomprehensible.
Just ask Rosie, who has, to date, spent a whopping 317 hours on the hunt in the streets of Yharnam.
And that makes sense, because even in the pantheon of From Software's catalogue, Bloodborne stands as tall as the Lovecraftian horrors it tasks you with fighting. It nails every part of its brief, from the immaculate vibes of its gothic Victorian setting, to the feel of nailing a perfect parry. And when you've beaten every challenge the game throws at you,
or your friends have while you watch in the corner,
then you can go back for more in New Game Plus and do it all over again and know where you're going.
And then you can do the Chalice dungeons and reach a stage where you're the master, happy to go back in and help the noobs of today on their fledgling adventures.
Is that what you do then?
No.
The third massive game you'll play for at least 200 hours is Call of Duty, which is a bit like the football game entry in that everyone will have their own preferred variant. Dave's preferred variant was 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare reboot, bagging 327 hours of quality online multiplayer and battle royale flavoured Warzone time.
Now, I don't relish complimenting Dave, but he is pretty good at Call of Duty for a man approaching 40. Just a little backhand twist to the compliment there.
327 hours may sound like a lot, but the very nature of online play means no two games are the same, especially when you think that over 100 individual players with individual tactics, weapons and abilities are running around the same shared space trying to outfox each other for half an hour. Unless you're Dave, where you get killed 5 minutes in because you were too busy bragging about how good you are at games to actually play.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're as good at games as I am, you just don't really see challenge anymore, so I don't seek it out because it just doesn't exist. It's not even a skill, it's more like an innate ability.
Jokes aside, there is a reason Call of Duty became the FPS titan that it is today, and that is because it feels so damn good. It's like a popcorn action film. I mean, I love cerebral art house cinema as much as the next man.
Unless the next man is Nathan, in which case I love it about 1/16 as much.
But sometimes you just want to sink into a beautiful, boisterous, big-budget bangarama with explosions and shotguns and the same guy killing you 8 times in a row from an unknown sniping position.
I do hate camping. And people who stay in the same spot for ages in FPS multiplayer games.
The fourth massive game on this list is one into which I myself have put over 200 hours. In fact, Final Fantasy XIV is a game into which I've actually put 339 hours over the course of 3 different PlayStation generations and 1 entire decade.
And only 80 hours of that was fishing.
But think about it, this is the sort of game that feels custom designed in a lab for me to lose my entire life to. A Final Fantasy world that I love and that never stops growing. If anything, my relative lack of progress in the expansions shows remarkable restraint. Poor Raberis, that's what I call my characters in these games, sat unloved like the worst chocobo in the stable, waiting for the owner that never returns. I do miss it though, roaming the various continents of Hydaelyn, looking for the best rivers to fish and low-level enemy areas to grind.
Don't act like you're above it.
Final Fantasy XIV is one of the greatest success stories in modern gaming. A troubled launch followed by a celebrated revival and numerous expansions that just keep getting better and better. Factor in the recent PS5 visual overhaul and you've got an MMO with a decade-long legacy that feels and looks every bit as beautiful and vibrant as anything released today. You know, you can stroll through a market in Final Fantasy XIV and it will be buzzing with activity, actual players warping in and out, guildmates handing in missions, the central aetherite crystal like a train station at rush hour.
You'll spend so long in Final Fantasy XIV because at this point it feels less like a game and more like a home.
And you can literally buy a home inside the game and get married and then go and butcher some level nothing ladybirds to let off steam.
I hate camping. I hate ladybirds.
Well, hold on. You hate ladybirds?
Have you ever smelt a ladybird?
We're at entry number 5 on this list of massive games you'll play for 200 hours, and that means we're talking about Fortnite. But I do have to make an important distinction.
Prepared a statement. I have not played 200 hours of Fortnite. Thank you.
But I know lots of people have. 200 hours, 2,000 hours. When it really started to take off in 2018, Fortnite would already have fit comfortably on this list for the same reasons as the aforementioned Warzone. Couple that inherent battle royale chaos with an ingenious building mechanic that still seems like magic to me, and it's a game that undoubtedly had an awful lot of people clearing 200 hours without breaking a sweat.
And yet, it just keeps getting bigger.
New Fortnite, OG Fortnite, Reload, No Build, Ranked, a Horde mode, a kart racer, a Lego survival game, a Lego life sim, a team-based FPS, a rhythm game, timed events, actual concerts. Seriously, how are you supposed to keep up? Am I so out of touch? Yes, I am. The children are correct.
One time, I came second in Fortnite by hiding in a bush for the entire game, and no one saw me. Weren't expecting the old stealth master to have that up his sleeve, were you?
Penultimate big game you'll play for 200 hours at least is another game that's taken over lives across 3 generations, Skyrim.
It's even in VR as well, so if you wanted, you could actually swap reality for virtual reality and live in Tamriel.
No one would blame you. This is my forever game. Cozy, familiar, comforting, the perfect game to fall asleep to or start a weekend with. You know the intro by heart, you know all the best mods, you know every skill exploit available, you know that beautiful world so well you could navigate it blindfolded and still fight all the dragons along the way.
Maybe not with a bow and arrow, though.
It's a beautiful thing. I don't have the stats, but I like to imagine that Skyrim has been played for so many hours by so many people that it functions as a kind of anchor point for the space-time continuum. You know, the Doctor could lock onto Skyrim in the TARDIS if they wanted to. It is the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega.
The Fuss, Row, and the Dar!
I need to ask you to stop.
The last game that you will spend 200 hours on, at least, is Grand Theft Auto Online, which Starfighter Connor has well and truly taken to heart by playing it for a total of 1,501 hours.
Which is quite a lot more than 200 hours, isn't it? Well done, Starfighter Connor.
I like GTA, and I've always enjoyed the time I've spent online. But this takes things to a whole new level. I was genuinely not aware that one could spend this much time in GTA Online and not own everything, but I suppose there is a reason it has become the most profitable piece of entertainment media ever.
I can't say I'm surprised. GTA is, after all, the ultimate power fantasy.
You want that car? Buy it. You want 10 of them? Go for it. Buy a house, buy a yacht, buy a casino, rob the same casino, then claim it back on the insurance. Or you can buy one of those flying bikes that shoot missiles and chase everyone around the lobby until they leave. But it comes at a cost, and that cost is having to tell your partner on holiday that you can't go for dinner yet because you need to get the daily login bonus by remote playing from your phone.
I'll let you be the judge of whether that sacrifice is worth it.
And that was 7 massive games you'll play for 200 hours at least, part 3. If you have any spare time after playing all these games and enjoyed watching the video, then give it a like and leave a comment down below telling us which game you've spent the most time in. And if you'd like to spend 200 hours at least watching more videos like this and keeping up to date with all things PlayStation, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
I do hate camping. And people who stay in the same spot for ages in FPS multiplayer games. And seagulls. And roundabouts that are too small for the volume of traffic that goes around them. What other things do I hate? I hate those adverts you get on TikTok for a product, and the advert is like a fake podcast setup. Because who has a podcast about vacuum cleaners? No one is inviting on like a man who's made a really good vacuum cleaner and sitting in like a nice studio with a microphone here, where he's like, you don't want to be. You want to have something that you can carry around, don't you? Yeah. And there's someone fake answering. Like, yeah. Tune into the next episode of the Vacuum Cleaner podcast.